These are the 5 craziest symptoms that I experienced during my pregnancy that nobody talked about. What is up, YouTube? Hallelujah here, and I am all about helping my modern day queens reign in the 21st century. So let's just get right into it. I know your time is valuable. Let's talk about the crazy symptoms that I specifically experienced and that many women experience during pregnancy that nobody tells us about or prepares us for. So to get things started, I am currently 17 weeks pregnant. I'll post a photo here so you can kind of see my bump and everything. That makes you about 4 months. So I am in my 2nd trimester. Talk about those, but I'm sure you saw the photo, my thumbnail photo to this video, and it caught your attention, or you YouTubed it or Googled it and thought, that looks like one of the symptoms I'm having. So let's talk about those. Because of course, me being the way I am, I couldn't have had just a normal pregnancy. Your girl had to get some crazy symptoms. So I have pregnancy brain, which is one of the symptoms I'm going to talk about. So I have everything written down here. I will timestamp them in the description box below. Again, your time is valuable, but I am saving the craziest symptom for last, just because I think it's worth the wait, and I think more people experience it than they think they do. You just wouldn't know unless you Googled it, right? The first symptom that I'm going to talk about is actually one that is talked about. However, I do not think it is talked about enough or has enough emphasis on it, and that is extreme exhaustion. I'm talking the kind that makes you want to cry because you're so tired and you just want to lay down. The kind that prevents you from walking from your bedroom to the kitchen to get water, and you're so tired, like you can't even fathom going out the front door into, well, I live in the desert, into like the 108-degree heat. The exhaustion that's like, I couldn't even explain it to my fiance. I couldn't even like put together words the amount of exhaustion I had. And that's really typical in the 1st trimester. I don't think it's talked about enough because I think more women think that exhaustion happens further along in the pregnancy, more specifically towards the 3rd trimester when you're huge. At that point, you're kind of just more uncomfortable. It's the 1st trimester while your body is going through significant changes that you feel this outrageous exhaustion. The kind of I can't even put words to, seriously. Think about like you running an Ironman and the most exhausted day you've ever had, and then like times 10. That's literally, it sounds so dramatic, but I promise you it is not. And if you get men to watch videos, and doctors will tell them this is a very crucial time. The most important part of your pregnancy is really the 1st trimester, when you don't even know you're pregnant, and then when you first find out you're pregnant. Those are the most crucial weeks because of hormonal changes. Your body does the most like 180 change you've ever seen in your life, from the blood volume, from your uterus expanding to the size of a grapefruit immediately. Some women even the bloat, like everything is so crucial and life-changing in the 1st trimester. And that's really where the placenta starts to really build. And that's like the foundation of the rest of your pregnancy. So when people think you need to rest more in the 2nd and 3rd trimester, they're actually mistaken. The 1st trimester, especially with the increased rate of miscarriage, the increased chances of miscarriage in the 1st trimester is definitely the most crucial. So naps, I'm sorry, girlfriend, you're going to have to get used to naps. You're going to get used to going to bed at 5 o'clock in the evening. You are going to be so tired. Like, it's going to be hard if you're trying to conceal it from other people around you and your family. Just stay home, because it's going to be so impossible. I'm talking the kind, like, I experience it when I'm on my period, and basically pregnancy is like period hormones, but for a prolonged amount of time. So if you're typically someone that's super tired when you're on your period, it's going to be exponentially worse while you're actually pregnant. And this is due to the increased jump in progesterone levels. Progesterone is like the calming hormone. It's like the opposite of estrogen. Your whole cycle is trying to balance it usually. And when you're pregnant, progesterone jumps up from my understanding, it also, the higher the levels, it prevents you from miscarrying too. So a lot of women like Khloe Kardashian, I remember there's the episode where she was talking about having to take progesterone supplements in order to prevent miscarriage. That's very, very common. That's nothing, unheard of. But that progesterone is what makes you ungodly tired. So I'm going to stop talking about it because I'm already exhausted from talking about it. But that's something that's not talked about enough. Number 2, I had the craziest thirst I have ever had in my entire life. I mean, it was so excessive. It still is, but not compared to my first trimester. Apparently, it is a very rare symptom that only about 20% of pregnant women feel, or are victims of, I should say. If you are so thirsty, like I remember that part in like Twilight when she's like, "What's wrong with me?" And they're like, "You're thirsty." That's how I felt all the time in the middle of the night. And you can't keep drinking because all you do is keep peeing. But at one point, even my fiance was like, "I don't know if this is normal." I was drinking a gallon of water a day, plus a Pedialyte, plus ginger ale because of my nausea, plus Gatorade. Like, it almost was like I had a tumor on my pituitary gland. Like, it was outrageous. At one point, I remember being so thirsty and we didn't have water bottles for some reason wherever we were. And it probably wasn't even that detrimental. It was probably for like an hour because Brandon always took care of me. But it was probably like for an hour where I just like lost my mind. I had the most inappropriate thought of like sticking my head in the dead gum toilet to quench this thirst. It was just insatiable. Even now, I have more excessive thirst than my other friends that are pregnant, but nothing compared to the first trimester. And that's mainly due to your blood volume. Your blood volume goes up 50% in like by week 7. So that's how quick your body changes. And that will lead me to my third one, which is actually fainting and clumsiness. So because your blood volume almost doubles within that short amount of time, one, you have to drink a lot more water because you're constantly trying to cleanse your blood, because that's what's helping go to your stomach and your uterus and make the baby in the placenta. So we're cleansing it. That's why we're thirsty. And then because you have that much blood now that's like doubled, it drops your blood pressure. And especially for me, because I am 5'11", and it takes a little extra time for blood to get to my noggin when I stand up, I noticed immediately within my first trimester, I was fainting. I fainted once at the kitchen at Brandon's lake house, like while he was downstairs and I was upstairs, and I was like, oh my God. I remember walking into my parents' house and all of a sudden my ears went out and they went, that high-pitched screechy noise. My cheeks went hot, and then all of a sudden I saw dots and I was like, oh my God, I'm falling. And I just remember being out and then waking up. I had bruises on my knees from it. So the fainting for sure has to do with increased blood volume, and particularly because I am so tall, it's just, you have to stand up slow. You have to get up from couches slow, from small cars slow. So fainting, definitely an issue. One of those other symptoms that can kind of come with it is vertigo. You get really bad vertigo, like stuff just spins all the time. If this all sounds really uncomfortable, it's because it is, okay? It's not all rainbows, kittens, and sunshine. I know everyone's like, you're glowy. I'm like, no, girl, I'm fainty. I have to pee all the time. You have air that comes out of nowhere. Like, you're just constantly uncomfortable. But yeah, these are the weird symptoms that I feel like no one talked about. No one told me I was going to stick my head in a toilet and drink water because my thirst was that real, or that I was going to faint within my first 3 months of pregnancy. The brain fog, hence why I have to have these notes. It's called pregnancy brain. A lot of these symptoms I had while I was on my period, and my mama even told me, she was like, girl, when you're pregnant, like, you're just gonna be a freaking nightmare. The pregnancy brain is real, and no one prepares you for it. And for the most part, I feel like it really affected me just because I'm working full time right now, and that first trimester was exponentially hard on me. Aside from being sick all the time, which I'm not even going to talk about morning sickness because I mean a lot of people get that, but aside from that, the fainting, the blood pressure, I couldn't like walk from my desk to my car. And then the brain fog, it's to the extent where I'm typically more articulate than I am even right now shooting this video, but I will completely lose words, or I'll have like a word in my brain, and then my like I'll try to say cup from my brain, and then my mouth will literally say like hot dog. And I'm like, where did that come from? I kicked my light. Sorry, guys. Brandon found a coffee mug in the freezer, and he was like, he brought it to me on the couch. He was like, babe, why is this in the freezer? And I was like, I don't know, why are you asking me? And he was like, you put it in the freezer. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I thought it was hot and it needed to be in the freezer. I don't know, leave me alone. Because I kept doing things. I put my phone in the refrigerator at my parents' house. I will tell people I'm meeting them at 3 and I'm thinking it's a Tuesday when it's really a Saturday. Like, the brain fog is so freaking real. It's not even funny. I have a feeling it has to do with exhaustion, maybe. I don't know, but it's a real thing. And then lastly, y'all, this is the craziest symptom that I experienced, and I Googled it within like 4 weeks of being pregnant, or well, at that time I was, I'd just known I'd been pregnant for about 4 weeks. Your teeth, hold on, let me make sure you can hear me. Your teeth move. I know. It sounds like a horror movie. It's literally my worst nightmare. Like, I have dreams of my teeth falling out of my mouth, because all the ligaments and muscles in your body relaxed from excess hormone production. There's a lot of, like I said, progesterone, and this other one called like relaxin or something that literally makes your body just like flaccid. Literally, your gums and ligaments become so loose that your teeth will move and wiggle. Now look, on the bright side, I will tell you this. These bottom teeth, after my retainer broke, the one that they cement inside your teeth, like after you get your braces removed, mine broke just like everybody's does, and I never went back and got it fixed, and these bottom ones moved immediately, and I've always been upset because I've always been on Instagram and everything, and I'm like, oh, I hate my selfie videos. I want to get those fixed one day. These legitimately straightened out since I've been pregnant, which is crazy. I'm like, okay, that's like a really first happy thing that I felt in months. That sounds so sad. Pregnancy is beautiful. 10 out of 10 recommend it. It's a really rough start for a lot of girls. But yeah, I noticed that like there was times I could push my teeth with my tongue like that, and they would move against each other, and I could feel them squeaking and moving, and I would feel it at night. And it freaked me out so much, I literally had to Google, my teeth are wiggling, and of course Google autofilled, I'm pregnant. And it's normal. It's normal. It's just from excessive progesterone and relaxing hormones that are released in your body. And I'm gonna add one in here that I didn't write down. Does it sound like I have a cold? Because here's another fun little symptom. This one just happened recently around week 15, 16, and I'm now 17, so I've had it for like a week or two. My nose is stuffy. I sound like I have a cold. Everything swells when you're pregnant. My lips swelled on both ends. Okay, another crazy symptom. Lip swelling and sinus swelling. And yeah, that's just part of pregnancy. That's part of estrogen, which makes you swell, not even the progesterone. So it just feels like the whole world's working against us, doesn't it? Also with the teeth wiggling thing, I've noticed excessive gum bleeding, and it's just not sexy. I know it's not, guys. A lot pregnancy honestly is just not sexy. But yeah, with my teeth wiggling, and then I would brush my teeth, and I mean excessive bleeding, and I take such good care of my teeth. And when I tell you it feels like my enamel's falling off, it's because it is. When your baby doesn't get, or when the fetus doesn't get what it needs nutrient wise, especially micronutrient, it will take it from your body. So like my first trimester, I was craving cheese, and that's mainly more than likely because I was calcium deficient. And when you're calcium deficient, it sucks it from your teeth and from your bones. So I love it when everyone, like Brandon and my mom and everyone's like, the baby needs to eat protein and the baby needs to eat cheese and calcium and the baby needs this and the baby needs that. And I'm like, y'all, the baby is fine, okay? It's me you should be worried about, because if I don't eat it, then I'm not getting it. But that baby, we were made so, God made us so efficiently, like we're so efficient that even in times of famine and like war and disaster, our bodies can create a human and give birth to it and even feed it. Like it's just insane. But yeah, this nose is driving me absolutely bonkers. So yeah, that's it. I would say, number one, I wanted to touch on extreme exhaustion because it's not talked about enough, but that was just kind of the most basic one. We had excessive thirst, which is experienced by about 20% of pregnant women. The brain fog pregnancy brain is definitely debilitating, especially when you're working, or maybe if you're raising, a toddler while you're pregnant. The fainting and the clumsiness was, I would probably say, my most difficult thing. That low blood pressure was the most difficult thing that I had to really deal with in my pregnancy thus far. Like more like nausea sucked, but I don't know why, just the fainting and the blood pressure, I just not being able to walk upstairs is awful. And then bleeding gums, wiggling teeth, swollen lips, which I guess could add to the glowiness, whatever. I thought I was having an allergic reaction the other day. Anyway, that is it for me, guys. If you have any other requests for some pregnancy videos, I don't want to shoot the basic stuff that everybody does. I don't want to show here's my bump, and I feel like you can find that with a lot of highly qualified YouTubers that are already out there doing it right now, like girls that I follow. I just wanted to make a video and touch on things that are raw and real, that girls are even afraid to say in front of their partner and out loud, or even Google. So yeah, I had to Google, why are my bottom lips getting puffy? Okay, you have to Google that. And I think we just don't have enough girls and resources that are willing. I guess they're able, but they're not willing to be raw and real. And yeah, that is the ugly truth about pregnancy. Just kidding. You guys seem ugly too. Never mind. Love y'all. Till next time.